Hi. So today we'll continue our topic on the five element, and we've already covered the water and the air element. And the third element which we will be talking about is actually the first element. Whenever we talk about all the five elements, it's the first element, and that's the fire element. Now, in our hand, if we see, the thumb is the finger which is given reference of the fire element, and we all know how important is thumb in the evolution of human beings or primitives, right? So we all know how important it has been in our evolution, and similarly we know that how important fire element has been. So if in nature we see where exactly fire exists, so the first thing we would remember is the sun, right? And the sun is the source of all the living beings as well as non-living beings. uh, we understand that, because of the sun, everything is around the sun, right? So it's the most important element. And coming back to human beings, if we look at scriptures like Rigved starts with evocation of fire element or the fire god or the fire deity, uh, as Agni Dev. And there's a reason why fire, in any religion, if you pick up, fire is the most important element, as well as it is the element which everything starts with the fire. And also fire is a symbol of transformation, um, and we see it in alchemy. Basically, the fire is required. Any kind of alchemy would require fire. And we even like specifically in Sanatan Dharma, we know how when everything ends, when there is no fire in the body, uh, the body the we are pronounced dead, when we don't have fire left in our body. Every other element is still the part of the body, but when the fire leaves, everything leaves. And hence uh, uh, there is a ritual of uh, us being given Agni, because eventually that's where everything starts. So that is all about that. Even in numerology or astrology, when you pick up, you'll come to know that everything starts with fire. The first number in numerology, if we see for number one, and even in astrology, which is the first sign, which is the Aries, these are all fire signs. So Aries is a fire sign, number one is a fire number. So so basically we understand that, there's a and it is similarity. You will find it in everywhere you'll find the same thing. Now just the way so we'll go back to sun, because I think sun is the best example of fire element. We know it's the most vital component of the entire system that we live in. We know that it's the energy source. We know that it provides life, right? And if we see the characteristic of sun, basically it is about something which is, which burns, and hence it gives us light, right? So there's a element of individuality which is present in the sun. There is authority which is present in the sun. There is it's the initiator, we can say. It is, the starting or the setting, the trend, all of that. Anything which is starting, initiating, is related to the fire or the sun. Now it's the anger, it's the passion, it's the vigor, it's the drive to do something. All of this is part of fire element. Now if in Ayurveda we see, we have the fire element in the digestive system of ours. So basically it is called the Jata Agni, and it is the reason of all the you know all our all of these energies. This is the main source of that. So the Jata Agni is basically it's the Agni which basically burns all the food that we have, uh, converts it into energy form, and hence it distributes it throughout the body with the help of the other elements that we are already understanding with reference to whatever element. So the creator is basically the creator of the prana is basically this energy, right? And hence we can also understand that it's the fire energy. So if the chakra I have to discuss, uh, the third chakra, which is called the Manipura chakra or the solar plexus, the color of which is yellow, is the fire element, right? And it's so there are chakras which are above the solar plexus, and there are two chakras which are below. All the other chakras are three chakras are all the above the four chakras are above the solar plexus. So if we have this energy, this fire energy, we can use it for the material gain if we convert it into the below two chakras, if we divert our all the energies toward that. So we see success in the material world. And if we divert this energy on the upper chakras, which are like the heart and above, we see that one can evolve or can develop uh, progress in the spiritual world. Now, even to go there or here, you have to have this very strong solar plexus, and fire element is the element which controls this solar plexus. Hence it's a very important element. Now most of us are disbalanced in this system, this element. Either we have too much of it or we do not have. So you see people who are get angry very easily, get agitated very easily. They have higher fire element. And people who are underconfident, people who are capable yet they are not able to perform well or do good, because their fire element is little dim. So basically, if I have to just give it characteristic, so if you feel motivated, you have a good fire element. If you are full of joy and have basically joy, it shows that good fire element. If you are full of energy, it is the good amount of fire and element. If you're passionate, if you're into things, it all shows good amount of fire element. Whereas whenever the fire element is disturbed, all of this, the opposite of this, starts to happen. You become low in energy, you become not motivated to do things, and you do not feel life is good, or is there something to live for, so feelings like those does occur. Now one more thing. So because when we talk about doshas, we know that pitta, I think this everybody knows that fire is related to the pitta dosh. Now pitta is basically when the fire increases, you have pitta dosh, and it's the disorder between fire and water. The whenever we'll have that disbalance, it happens. So related to that, there are people who have too much of water. We've spoken it in the water element. That water element is associated with emotions, right? Now when you have too much of water, you are very empathetic, and you pick up people's energies, emotions very easily. So they tend to be people without boundaries, right? And in that case, you would need to connect with the fire element more, right? Because it's almost the opposite. So like the way I spoke about air element, they need to, when they're not grounded, when they're up in the air, too much thought process, they need the grounding, they need the earth element. Similarly, the water element, when it is too much of water element, you need the fire element, so that you get hold of this other part of uh, the system. So this is about that. Other thing is that how do you know that your fire element is disbalanced? Is fourth thing basically: food, thirst, sleep, anger, and how lazy you are. So basically, this will show you that whether your fire element is in balance or is it in disbalance. Now, remember, I spoke about an air element, that insomnia is one of the things that people suffer from when they have disbalance, too much of air, so too much of thought processes. Uh, now, fire is different. Fire is because you're so full of energy that you're not able to sleep. It's not the thoughts only, but it's the too much of energy. So what do you do when you have too much of energy? So you have to, if you have this issue, then, and you understand that your sleeplessness is coming from the fire element and not from the thought process, you need to engage into some or the other physical activity. You have to do some form of uh, physical exercise, yoga, or something which is very high intensity workout, right? So to balance the fire element. And uh, so yeah, a lot of running and things like that. Also, I will do this, and because I'm doing this as an introduction, because all of this will be used in astrology, and we will be able to understand ourselves more once we understand ourselves from the core. So these are all the things which make up us as us, so people, I'll just run down to the last part, but I'll come back again. So the astrology wise, the three signs which are related to fire is the Aries, the Leo, and the Sagittarius. Now, one thing I like to include here, which I've not done to the other two element: Aries is governed by Mars, right? Leo is governed by the Sun, whereas the Sagittarius is governed by the. Okay, so the three signs: Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Uh, the lords for each of these signs is, for Aries it is the Sun, for the Leo it, sorry, Aries it is the Mars, and Leo it is the Sun, and the Sagittarius it's the Jupiter. Hence the three signs are fire signs, yet because the lordship is different and the nature of these lords, these planets is different, hence even the kind of energies these three are holding, it will be different. And same goes for all the other elements and their respective signs. So whosoever is the lord of that sign, the difference in energies will happen because of that, right? So we'll talk about this in astrology basically. Now what are the pranayam, what that we can do for sun? So yoga basically is Surya Namaskar, we already know. That's the best way to connect to sun. All the fast breathing exercises, all of the pranayams which will have a lot of fast breathing, those will come under the sun's breathing styles, or related to sun or the fire energy. Now another thing which I had introduced in the air element is the nadi system. So I've spoken about these three nadis, and the right nadi is the left nadi is the Surya nadi, right? And to activate that, there are various ways. One of the ways, if you lie down on the left side, uh, if you lie down on the left side, the right side will be activated and the Surya Nadi will be activated. Now the other one is basically the Tratak. The way, basically, if you know about meditation technique which is called Tratak, It is basically focusing on either candle or a lamp. uh, that is how you connect with the fire. And even the same can be done with the sun, but you do not do it in the later part of the day. It should be only done as soon as the sun rises, that it just when it is about to rise, or it is rising, because we all know that we do not want to see the sun directly, right? So it's the early morning, just when the sun is rising. We can do tratak on the sun also. And hence, even we know that, watering sun is one of the rituals which we can do, showing gratitude, just the way we showed gratitude to moon. Similarly, we can do that to the sun. And we have many festivals like Uttarayan, and when we are connecting ourselves with the sun. uh, Now, what else have I forgotten? Yeah. So, the mudra. The mudra, we know that, this finger, the thumb, is actually a neutral finger. And we see that, any mudra that we do, either of the elements, this is used. Uh, so you remember we had did the Vayu mudra. Now for the sun mudra, we'll take the air element and we'll press it like this, right? Now this is the uh, Agni mudra. And so this can be done when the Agni is actually low. We are low on energy, and hence it is a good mudra to do that. Then one of the other thing that I wanted to add was that, if you have, we basically know about this, that if we have a lot of fire element, we would tend to eat more of spicy food, and that is what we're not supposed to do, right? And the last thing which I would want to talk about is the Kundalini. So uh, we haven't spoken about Kundalini yet, but basically, if you are into a spiritual understanding or knowledge, you know that what Kundalini is. And we see that, if a person is going through an ascension process, or a process of Kundalini awakening, that person would reduce weight. And the reason why a person loses weight is because activation of all the chakras, it all is a very high energy process. And during that process, lot of energy from your body is taken. And the purification, it's a complete purification and transformation of your system. And hence we see that, a person suddenly loses weight. And so that's the fire element, right? Because fire element is the element which is actually one of the very important process that leads to transformation. So yeah, I these were all the things related to fire element. And yes, I would like to introduce one more thing in the fire element: the crystals. So each of the elements will have different crystals. So the two crystals that I have, three actually. This is the yellow aventurine, this is a citrine, and this is a sunstone. So all of these stones which are related to sun and the fire element. So whenever somebody has low of those energies or the elements, these are good to keep. So yeah, this is all about fire element. And hope it makes sense to some of you. Thank you so much.